person. Bring that work in my Suburban, steady swerving. Roll the credits, close the curtain, show so perfect. Broke the burden, growth the furthest from my past, and send them curving. Faithfulness on proper learning, higher learning. What I'm yearning, far from perfect, that's my sermon. I'm a clerkling, holy verses, this my service. Bring the church in, hallelujah. Lion of Judah, great Yeshua. Shout to school, there ain't no talking, I just do it. Nike checks all on my shoes, and while I'm shooting, we keep winning, they keep losing. IBAV, we the truest, they just using, so confusing. They the old and we the new. Yeah, that's just how we do it. Big up to my wrist, I speak it fluent. Yeah. You witnessing the work of an apostle, and it still look kill me if I don't push the guy. Church communion with the bread up. Was so lost in my sin till I was fed up. Through the trials and tribulations, keep my head up. Real recognize real, you don't know what that is. Tell them they all better watch. Let them talk, know this here will never stop, yeah. He done risen, I'm forgiving of a lot, yeah. Bold is here, giving everything I got, yeah. Like my time costs money, better watch, yeah. Yeah, yeah, better watch, yeah. Like my time costs money, better watch, yeah. Yeah, hey, better watch, yeah. Like my time costs money, better watch.
Necesito mucho más de ti. Estoy sediento y solo tú puedes saciarme. Tú me das lo que el mundo no da. Me das la paz. Tú eres mi melodía de cada día. Y tu luz es la que brilla en mi vida. Desde que te conocí, yo no puedo ser igual, igual. No te cambiaré,
Esto no es fácil, lo tengo que admitir. Hay un fuego adentro y palabras que no puedo omitir. Vi la fe convertirse en otra función. De domingos, sermones, trabajo, se perdió la visión. Oh, todos tenemos situaciones, temores, lágrimas que no se secan de la piel. Nada de esto es suficiente, terminó. Es cierto, el velo se rompió. No necesito para un encuentro con Él. No necesito palabras bonitas, perfectas para saber mi valor. Yo quiero a Cristo y su amor real es lo que deseo en mi interior. Oh, puedes quedarte con tu pasé mi vida intentando aferrarme a la ley. Ahora sé que se trata de lo que Él ya hizo y no de lo que yo pienso hacer. No necesito apariencias para un encuentro con y
so broad. I've been on the fence too long. Switch it up, strange, oh my. Running from the things that lie. Down for base, don't cry. Don't even cry. I can finally breathe out. I can finally breathe out. Wanna tell my bros 9-5. What do I do it for? I'd rather live righteous. Yeah, Jesus my guidance. Ready to curse. I'm ready to swear. This is goodbye. I'm ready to shine. This is my word. No, 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 no. I can finally breathe out. Oh, yeah. Drowning in love, I'm on time. Don't ever tell me I'm lost. I can finally breathe. Running down my pulse. I feel right at home. Just gotta watch the throne. I'm about to blow. Running down my pulse. I feel right at home. There's me on the move. Thank God for this road. Running down my pulse. I feel right at home. Just gotta watch the throne. I'm about to blow. Running down my pulse. I feel right at home. There's me on a move. Thank God for this road.
El amor de Dios es original y no fake, porque Él me amó primero antes de nacer. Sostiene mi mano para así yo no caer. No me falta nada porque tengo todo en Él. Ya, dime que lo que estamos en otro nivel. Aquí somos hermanos y no nos avergonzamos. Ley doble 1-6. Óyeme, parcero, que lo sepan en todo tu quiero. Tengo familia en el mundo entero. Hijos de aquel que murió en el madero. Ahora tengo una familia donde todos velan por mí. Con todos aquellos defectos que tengo me aceptan ayer. El mejor estilo de vida que tengo es este que elegí. En donde a mí tengo que morir primero para yo vivir.
No, 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 no. I can finally breathe out. Oh, yeah. Drowning in love, I'm on time. Don't ever tell me I'm lost. I can finally breathe. Running down my pulse. I feel right at home. Just gotta watch the throne. I'm about to blow. Running down my pulse. I feel right at home. There's me on the move. Thank God for this road. Running down my pulse. I feel right at home. Just gotta watch the throne. I'm about to blow. Running down my pulse. I feel right at home. There's me on a move. Thank God for this road.
Shout out to the 954, baby. You know how we getting it.
La luz que entró en la ventana ya me hizo amanecer. De vivir no tengo ganas, aún no logro entender cómo es que tanto me llamas si no quiero responder. Si contesto, me quedaré en silencio. Tú me alcanzas, yo huyo, no sé qué quieres de mí. No soy nada de perfecto, pero me amas así. No sé si tengas espacio para aceptarme así, pero aprendí que ese espacio estaba dentro de mí. Siempre llegaste a tiempo. Fue lo que escuché yo de ti. Traes alimento al hambriento. Que conoces todo de mí. Te pertenezco desde que te haces en mi corazón. Que no soy el mismo que ayer. Ahora tengo una nueva canción. Una vida plena y el pasado se fue a la perdición. Ya no tengo preocupación. Jesús llegó a mi habitación. Y el desorden le puso orden y eliminó todo el pecado de mí. Y aunque es enorme, no soy conforme. Quiero alcanzar todo lo que tienes por mí. Y el desorden le puso orden y eliminó todo el pecado de mí. Y aunque es enorme, no soy conforme. Quiero alcanzar todo lo que tienes por mí.
es martes por la noche. Tu programa de política e información social comienza ahora. It's Tuesday evening. Your award-winning political and information show, Listen to Me, starts now. Bueno, mi gente, mi nombre es J. Jesús Rodríguez Caballero. Usted están escuchando y viendo a través de radiount.net y a través de Facebook Live en JJ Rodriguez. Listen to Me, the award-winning TV radio show, the new media, because this is new media. You could listen to us, you could hear us, you could see us through many platforms like your computer, your tablet, your phone, anywhere, your iPod, your iPhone, your, I don't know, anything that's Anyway, today's a very important day because we're having a debate. We're having a debate of for the candidates for Commissioner, Board of Commissioner District 4. La importancia de este debate es que nosotros vamos a entender el funcionamiento de estos candidatos. We're going to understand what makes these candidates tick. And we're going to understand why they want to be in public service, in political life, in the foray that many people say, why are you doing this? ¿Por qué ustedes están haciendo esto? We invited 5 people. 2 came today. Invitamos a 5 personas, 2 vinieron. And my dear friends, that I am happy that they're here because we're going to have a debate of substance and of ideas to be able to provide more information to the electorate of District 4 of what these 2 beautiful women, because they are beautiful in spirit and beautiful because they are taking up something that many people are asking them, why are you doing this? ¿Por qué rayos te estás metiendo en esto? And I'm gonna explain a little bit to this in my opening monologue. These kind of ladies are doing this because they believe that they need to do something better and that District 4 can be better. And again, this goes back to the history of the Douglas and Lincoln debates in the 1800s, where there was no radio, there was no internet, there was no Twitter. There was nothing other than approaching groups of individuals and debating ideas and positions so that the voters can have the correct information once they went to the ballots. Ustedes saben que tengo una amiga que se llama Mila Marquez. You know, people here know that I have a friend. This is Mila Marquez. She's from Venezuela. You know what's going on in Venezuela? She says that Simón Bolívar said that under the freest of democracies, an ignorant voter base shall always be enslaved. That resonates not only in Venezuela and Puerto Rico. I've heard it. I thought it was something my dearest father had wrote, and now I know it was Simón Bolívar. But nonetheless, it's important that we provide the information. Nosotros proveemos la información correcta y fidedigna de que los candidatos van a poder expresar con nosotros hoy. That the candidates will be able to express freely, because we live in a free country. We live in a free sovereign state of the greatest state, Florida, of the greatest nation, United States of America. So I am proud to be with these 2 fine ladies today. They're going to introduce themselves, and we're going to start with the introductions. And we're gonna start with Susan first, and then with Gina. Vamos a darle ya comienzo. To my Spanish-speaking friends, a mis amistades de habla hispana, si ustedes tienen preguntas de lo que se hable aquí, como no tengo captions, no tengo las capciones yendo de inglés a español, español a inglés, me escriben a bbninfo@hotmail.com y le doy copias, transcripts traducidos de lo que pase aquí. My main concern is that everybody in both languages understand what's going on with these 2 candidates today. Ladies and gentlemen, history is going to be made today. These are your candidates for District 4 Commissioner in Orange County Commissioners. Miss Susan, please, for those that are listening to us today in cyberspace throughout Daytona and Sanford, please tell us your full first and last name and give us a brief explanation on why are you getting into this foray? Why are you getting in? Some say you're getting into this mess. Why?
Jay, my name is Susan Mikowski, and I want to thank you and Miguel for giving us this time and this opportunity to talk about why we're running for office, and I think it's very important that people understand why. And I also want to thank your listeners for being engaged, because that's so important that they are engaged in knowing about local government. And for the past 7 years, for those that don't know, I served alongside our current county commissioner, Jennifer Thompson. I served as her chief aide and took office back in 2011. And a few months ago, I left my position in order to file as a candidate. And over those past 7 years, I've negotiated agreements to protect neighborhoods from growth. I've moved the needle forward on major projects. I've worked with residents to protect rural settlements. I've worked with outside agencies to benefit District 4 and the community at large. I know the county's processes. I know how to navigate through them. I know why the county did or didn't do something. And I know the projects that we still have outstanding. And I know how to work those through the system. And I do have some new ideas for our future. And I have the background knowledge and the resources to serve the residents on day one. And I have to tell you, Jay, I loved my job over the past 7 years, and I want to continue serving.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Susan. Thank you for those kind words. Yes, my viewership really want to become engaged, and in future shows, you will see that. Hopefully, you'll be listen to me a little bit more. But thank you so much for those kind words, Susan. Now, we have Gina. Gina, please. I know that you have been a guest here, but again, please, can you identify and tell us why are you getting into this mess?
Again, I wanted to echo Susan's gratefulness to JJ, the listeners, Miguel. And it's important to be engaged, and you cannot be engaged unless you have information. And so listening to this debate and other hopefully future debates will give our voters the information they need so they can vote and they can become also active citizens in our county. For those who do not know who I am and what I do, I am a small business owner. I'm an attorney, and I've been in practice for over 20 years. And I've been serving the community in issues that relates to veteran issues, domestic violence, and more recently also issues that relate to the displaced Puerto Ricans from Puerto Rico and professionals are currently through specifically the Puerto Rican Bar Association and other organizations that have been so gracious to the Puerto Rican community. So thank you for that. And so why am I running? And people go, well, you're a small business owner, you're an attorney, why are you doing this? And I am doing this because when I see problems and I see issues, I go, well, I can complain about it, or I can be actively trying to solve those issues. And I decided to run because I wanted to be part of the solution. And we are a growing community, and we keep growing. Susan attended, and I attended the summit on the financial issues and how Orange County is doing, and it's amazing the growth that is going to continue in this county. We're blessed that way, but there's going to be some tough decisions that we have to make, and wherever you side on the answer to those questions, it doesn't mean you're right or wrong. It just depends on the vision you have for the future of Orange County. And I have a vision for the county that I want to be able to grow old and retired, and that it not be outpriced, that I don't have to move when I retire because Orange County became too expensive for me to live, only for me to be able to raise my children. Don't get me wrong, I want my property values to go up, and Susan obviously wants that, they want that too, but I think it's a matter of a vision, and I wanted to be part of that vision, part of the solutions, and kind of bring a different perspective to the mix. And so that's why I'm running.
Fantastic. Okay, so those were the intro questions. So we're going to go into round one, and basically I canvassed a couple of questions from people like Alberto Esperon, who's also a blogger on conservative and Republican values in the internet. He's also a person that does a kind of a show like me. Also, people like Thomas Robman, who's a homeless consultant who has done many things. So there's a plethora of different feeling questions. And Gina and Susan, since I started with you, I'm going to start with Gina, and then I'm going to go to Susan. Gina, what will you do different than the incumbent right now?
I just think that I was looking through the history of how we communicate with our residents. Mm-hmm. And yes, she's everywhere, and I see her on social media, and she's done a lot of stuff. And I know she's having soon a town hall meeting, but I would do more of those town hall meetings. Mm-hmm. I would try to use what Jennifer has done so far with social media, and then take it to another level so that we can go live with our residents before the major issues come about, to refresh our residents as to what's going on. Try to engage them in those town halls. And I think you have to do both. You have to do the virtual town halls, and then you have to go actually to the different communities and have those town halls. Mm-hmm. And I think it's not only Jennifer. I think if you go on the internet and try to research town hall meetings by any of the commissioners, I just think they're very, very few. And so I think that's part of motivating our residents to get involved, so that they can not only see the commissioners in Orange TV, but know ahead of time of what's happening, posting it in on the internet or having available. I just don't think that's enough. I just think we need to probably get a little bit more engaged with the communities, and also reach out to the Hispanic community and the displaced Puerto Ricans, so that they can become active in our political process.
That is good. That is good. So, Susan, the same question, please. Aside from what the incumbent is doing, please, can you elaborate on us? Would you do something different, Susan?
Yes, I would. Over the past 7 years, sitting in that office at District 4, basically the job is 80% land use issues, and you are either approving or denying projects. And what I have learned, and what was not at the time focused on, because there's a huge learning curve when you get into that office. Your first 4 years is nothing but learning. Then your second half, then your next 4 years after that is when you can actually put things into fruition. So what I want to do is I want to focus more on the environment. I've learned several things throughout the past 7 years and all of the growth processes, that you are one vote on the board, and in order for a project to be denied or in order for it to be approved, it takes 4 votes. You're only one. And so if the rest of the board votes a different way than what you were planning on, such as not voting for something, a land use project, and that project's going to go forward, you have to be ready with conditions on that product, on that project. And the conditions are such that there are certain codes that the county doesn't have yet, as far as when you talk about environment. And it can be something as simple as a tree protection ordinance. They have a tree mitigation ordinance. So when a developer gets a project approved and they mass grade the whole area from corner to corner to corner to corner on that parcel, they have stripped that land of everything. And yet they do have to come in with a buffer of landscaping. But that buffer of landscaping doesn't say that they have to keep trees. Okay? Because the law seems to favor the developer when it comes to the trees, because all they do is get rid of the trees, and then they can put those trees somewhere else off site. And I just don't buy that. I'm not sold into that. And so I want to put in an ordinance for a tree protection, because we don't have that. Now the state is coming down right now with something that says different from that. And it was, and I don't know how that's going to shake out at the end of this year. However, you know, if I do win and take office, that is going to be one of my first things that I'm going to work on. It'll be a priority for me.
Susan, you said something very important. May I please ask a follow-up question?
Absolutely.
The follow-up question is that you say that there is a learning curve. Are you really in tune to the needs of the citizens? How will that learning curve help you become more in tune? If you could follow my line of question.
Oh, absolutely.
Are you going to have the pulse of the people close to you, or are you going to be doing the learning curve? Can you do both? Is this a position where you have to juggle multiple hats?
Right. I've already gone through that learning curve.
Okay.
Because, like I said, on day one, I was Commissioner Thompson's chief aide, and what I did was I was the one that handled negotiations with residents, with developers. You know, I was right alongside with her, if not taking those initial meetings. So my learning curve is done. What I can bring then is the pulse of the people, and I actually serve as a resource, and that's what you do in that office. You serve as a resource between an application coming through and the residents in that area, and you are the resource to say, hey, if the residents, what concerns do they have? You surface those concerns and you engage the residents, and that has been the culture of what District 4 has done over these past 7 years so far. Is their culture is you engage the residents, and the residents, the developer needs to work it out with the residents. Don't have the commissioner work it out, because the commissioner may not live where that project is proposed. Okay. So I've already had that learning curve, and I already know how to engage those residents to say, listen guys, this is what you need to do. And whether it's a Board of Zoning and Adjustment issue, whether it is a land use issue, whether it's a code enforcement issue, you can help. I know how to help out the residents and guiding them into, if their outcome can change into a positive way, how to get that done.
Exactly. Well, thank you so much. Gina, you've heard Susan. She has a hand on that learning curve. You are an entrepreneur. How will you juggle learning curve? And you are saying that you're going to have the pulse with the people. So the inverse is there. Mm-hmm. How will you juggle learning that, if you may please tell us, please?
Well, the thing is, as an attorney, the law is constantly changing on us. Whether the legislature decides to be creative and change alimony law or child custody, and you have to relearn it all over again, or something new comes about and you have to, learn it. And so the process that I am as an attorney, the one thing law school teaches you to do is how to learn on your own. Okay, which is one thing, and I know that there's a difference between the academic portion and the practical portion of things. And as it relates to the practical portion of things, is obviously to surround yourself with people to ask, to know do not know it all, and try to do that. And it's something that I've had to do and adapt as an attorney, as a small business person. And day to day, you are going to have challenges and things that confront you. The question is, are you able to adapt, and furthermore be able to be creative in negotiating those things that Susan already presented? If something comes that it's out of the box or new law that comes, I believe that I also have the advantage to be able to read things and not necessarily all the time have someone necessarily digest them for me, or yes, I welcome briefings and input, but the training of the law designs you to be able to do that. And I think that combining already with our desire to be able to involve the community, and I know that there are different things that are doing, but what I hear when I walk, what I hear from the Hispanic community, what I hear from the elderly community, is that a lot of times they don't know what's happening, and it might just simply be education. And some people like the old traditional town hall forums. We have social media, we have internet, we have emails, and I think that we can do a better job at involving the community into getting involved about an issue, because otherwise you have people that after the fact might be complaining they didn't know that was happening. And I understand that under the law, if they put a posting and they do the necessary notices, technically the community know. Okay, it's the legal construction of that they know. But you have all these people that are now going up in arms about a water park in the Lake Nona area, and they're like acting like they never knew about it, or they bought property and they didn't know this was coming about. And so I think that there is a disconnect, and I truly want Orange County to be a place where people are more actively involved, know the issues. If after they know the issues and they've been given the opportunity, they choose to not voice their opinion, then that's, you know, up to them. But I think that, like some of the municipalities in Connecticut are doing, some of the elected officials, they're engaging their electorate through Go Live, you know, Facebook, Town Hall Virtual, and Town Hall Live. So I think I can combine both of those things.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Gina. Susan, and then the same question to Gina. I'm going to play devil's advocate. A lot of people have been saying, drain the swamp, drain Tallahassee. The question behind those phrases is, are you really going to take care of the voters, or are you looking for power? And Susan, I humbly ask this question to incite your passion. I want to know if this rhetoric is true within you. Are you in it for the power, or are you in it for the people?
I am in it for the people. I loved what I have been doing the past 7 years in serving with our current commissioner, and it's not easy. Let me tell you, social media has created monsters out there. It is like, woo! So, and it's not glamorous. You know, I have a background in, prior to coming into service for the county, I worked nonprofit, and I worked for the American Cancer Society. So, you know, yeah, I was trying to cure cancer. And then moving into the government sector, I realized you're still serving people. It's just not a romantic way of doing it, because everybody points the finger that it's the county's fault. It's the county's fault for everything. It's the county's fault for somebody speeding down the road. You know, it's not poor driver behavior. It's the county that built the road, and it's their fault.
We're the scapegoats. Yeah, I could understand that.
Exactly. Yeah. So, you know, I really never thought that I was going to run for office, except I loved what I did, and I know how to get this job done, and I want to see that positive culture remain, because I've seen a shift in the board, and I've seen an outside influence, not from a local level, but from a federal level, and I've seen that influence taking place, and nobody knows it better than local, because you know what? The county is the government of the people, because it's the government closest to the people. And if you don't have your pulse on the people, you don't have your pulse on it.
Okay. May I please ask a follow-up question?
Absolutely.
What does your family say about that? Do they support your efforts?
They do. They do. My mom has always said that one day you're probably going to run for office. And she says that because I make friends easy, and I enjoy people. And so when I go somewhere, I mean, at Publix, it takes me like an hour to buy 3 things, because, you know, and Gina probably has that too, because Gina has that type of personality. And so, you know, my parents have always said, you know, Susie, she's probably going to end up something. I don't know, being some mayor or something. And but politics was never that. You know, I always had a view of politics at a higher level, you know, meaning that that's what I always saw. And it wasn't until my good friend Jennifer Thompson ran for office, and I stood beside her and helped her on her campaign, and then went into office with her, that I realized how important your local government is. And it just I never saw me doing this, but now I do, and I love it.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. Local government is the basic foundation of the purest of democracies. Thank you, Susan. Gina, may you please answer that question? Are you in it for the power, and is your family behind you, please?
If I was in it for the power, I would stay being a small business owner. You have a lot more privacy that way. No, I don't do it for the power. I do it because it's another way for me to serve. My dad was a Second World War veteran. My husband is reserves. He was a prior cop. And I can put a uniform and I can do those things. But if I can just make it easier for a family, a resident, if something can be improved, like the wonderful thing Jennifer Thompson did with making the park handicap accessible, that was amazing. That had an impact on the lives of so many families that can't afford the annual passes and stuff like that use our parks. If I can have an impact in voicing what the people want to be the vision of the county, then I want to be that voice, and that's something I do. I advocate, I negotiate, I bring the voice to many people currently as I represent. So it's not for a power trip. Otherwise, I stay with what I'm doing. My family supports me 100%. My brother. Help me with my website. My daughter's involved in social media. My husband supports me, even though I have kind of a rule of thumb with him that when you're in public, the only thing you're allowed to say is, I love my country, I love my God, and I love my family, my wife. No, he's there to be, he walks with me, and he's at every, festival. So I have the support of my family 150%, and I'm very glad for that. And they push me, question me, and keep me in check. And I bet your family does too, Susan, correct? They're what keeps us
grounded.
So, ladies, you've answered the questions of round one. Basically, now we have we're going into round two, and I'm sorry that I'm jumping a bit around. But I want to make it entertaining. I gave you kind of a basic outline, but it's my show, so I'm really going to jump a little bit. So what we're going to do is, ladies, if you don't mind, we're going to take a little break. We're going to hear a commercial of a very good comedy show called Bohemia 2. And we'll be back. And the topic for round two will be public safety. Okay? Within public safety, we're going to talk about homelessness. Okay? So, mi gente, no se vaya nadie, que estamos aquí en el debate de los candidatos a comisionado del Distrito 4. We are doing history. The candidates for District 4 are here, and they're debating, and no punches were flying, and there's nothing going on, and we're having a lot of fun. So stay tuned. Watch this commercial for Bohemia 2, okay? I'll be right back.
Bohemia 2, marzo 16. Las puertas abren a las 8 p.m. y el show comienza a las 8:30. Entradas $15 en la puerta y por Eventbrite $10. Eventbrite.com $10. En la puerta $15. Si quieres el buffet, son $13 adicionales en la puerta. No te lo pierdas, habrá música, comedia, artistas del patio y internacionales. No te lo pierdas en Café Mineiro, 8204 Crystal Clear Lane, Suite 1700, Orlando, Florida. Café Mineiro Brazilian Steakhouse en la 8204 Crystal Clear Lane. Bohemia 2, la extravagancia continúa.
Bueno, mi gente, estamos de regreso. Me cogieron infraganti. They caught me coming in. Anyway, we had to take a break. We're here with the district commissioners, candidates for District 4, Susan and Gina. We've talked a lot about their ethics and why they're running. Now let's get into a little bit of the meat. The subject will be public safety, and this question was from Thomas Riedman. And basically, we're going to start with Susan and then go to Gina. Susan, you say that a lot of the work that is done in the commissioner is land use for projects. We have a very big problem with homelessness. And homelessness, as defined by Mr. Rodman, is not only homelessness of people, veterans, people living in the streets. We have problems with single moms that are running away from abusive relationships and are considered homeless. Susan, let's move the magic ball. You're elected commissioner. What are your talking points to solve this problem?
I wish I had the magic ball, and I would love to do this. Now, this is my idea. So, Jay, there's many types of homelessness. There's veterans,
right.
As you said, right? There's family, there's youth. We have 7,000 homeless students in Orange County. That's just Orange County. And then we have the chronic homeless. So we, the county, need to create a new housing strategy.
Exactly.
And I think they finally just started this discussion because coming soon will be approvals on the SHIP and which is the State Housing Initiative, and then the LHAP, which is the Local Housing Assistance Plan. So what if we had a magic ball? Now, we will never solve homelessness, okay? Because there will always be a certain percentage that's just how they want to live. However, those that we can solve, here's my idea. So if we could provide some dollars for a capital loan fund to be used, and that would be used for like land acquisition, that could be pre-development costs and vertical construction for affordable homes. And let's say we give it a budget of like $1 to $2 million, okay? Secondly, we could add multifamily housing to the impact fee subsidy program. Okay. So what that means is with multifamily that is developed, that 25% of the impact fee, which would not exceed 5,000 in units, because see what's happening is it's so expensive now to develop, period, whether it is multifamily or single family homes. So you have to make it affordable for the developer. We have to work with that and make it affordable so that people can get off the streets, or who are near homelessness have a place that they can afford. We also could change the I mentioned about the multifamily, about a 25% of their impact fee subsidy. We could also change for the single family home and go from 50% to 75%.
Wow, that's
and it wouldn't exceed like 15,000 per unit. Okay. And then we could also create a rapid rehousing program, and this would provide like short-term financial assistance and services to the low-income persons or families who are again at risk of becoming homeless or who are. This is even something, and this is. I don't know if you know about the federal program, the NSP, the Neighborhood Stabilization Program, right? So if we could champion and increase those dollars, okay, and that would say like from 5 to 10%, if we could do that. And those are dollars that go towards low-income families to afford a first home. Okay, it's down payment assistance. And the county, it's not county taxpayer dollars that are going toward that. It's the federal dollars coming into the county, and the county is is the one who gives out the dollars. We could engage partnerships with area agencies. You know, we do that already, but I think we can do more of that. And I think with the affordable housing crisis that we have, I think now the homelessness and affordable housing, all of that, and with the Puerto Ricans coming over, you know, and islanders, not just Puerto Ricans coming over from their islands after Maria, you know, I think the county has finally realized that we really need to step it up.
Because it's not right, Susan. It's not only the Puerto Ricans. There's Colombians,
Correct.
Venezuela.
Correct.
The major flux, yes, is Puerto Ricans because they're American citizens. It's easier for them to jump.
Right.
But we are seeing an influx of Venezuelans and Colombians. And Susan, to the follow up, how would you reach across, because this is nonpartisan, but you know that within the politics of things, you may have to reach the people from the left. Will you be able to do that?
Yes, I will. There's already several state reps who are opposite of what I am. However, what happened this past year with the storms and how the increase in homelessness, I think finally the parties are trying to work together for a common goal.
Good. That's good. So Gina, the same question. Let's move the magic ball forward. You are elected commissioner. How would you help solve the problem of homelessness, and also as Susan has mentioned, there's an influx of Puerto Ricans, there's an influx of other Latino communities. You're the commissioner. How would you solve that problem?
Well, I have to agree with Susan that, you know, if I had the magic solution, wow, I mean, it would be awesome.
Okay.
Unfortunately, there's different types of individuals who are homeless. As Susan mentioned, there's a chronic homeless who it's a lifetime decision they've made about being this way. Okay.
And let me understand, ladies, that we live in a free country. If a person wants to live out in the street, that is their right, protected by the Constitution, not only of the United States, of Florida, right?
Absolutely.
Am I wrong?
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah. So continue, please.
So there has to be a reality that we're always going to have homelessness, and being a warm state, we're going to attract a number of homeless that are going to be coming as it gets too cold in other areas, or people would decide, well, if I'm going to be homeless, I'm going to be homeless in Florida, in Central Florida. And but there are then all the rest. And with all the rest, there are different groups. There are those individuals who are living in hotels, okay? Or individuals that are living in like the long term, or they are in between, victims of domestic violence that need to flee, and there's the shelters for them. And so there's two things that we have to work on. We have to work on the prevention, which what Susan is offering is a great idea, particularly for those who have employment history, have a credit history, or are in a hotel. Okay, those solutions work for those individuals because if they can be purchasers, be part of the American dream on buying a piece of land, piece of property, that is awesome. That is good. However, there is a whole group of other individuals who don't have credit. A lot of them don't have even IDs, and it's not going to be as easy to put them in paying rent or purchasing. And so I think that my suggestion to address that first, that other group of homeless, which there are a lot of them, unfortunately, is to do a collaboration like what First Presbyterian did with the county when they built that parking garage, which was first in the nation, and is work in a collaboration between private entities, non-for-profit, and churches, and sit at the table like the collaborative Collaborative does through First Presbyterian, and find the resources that are currently available in the county and see if we can reallocate some of those resources to meet the current needs of those individuals. For example, there are shelters that will not allow a mom with a teenage son and they have a little kid, they can't go at that shelter. Okay, and so that's going to be a person who's going to be displaced or choose to go to a homeless shelter, and then the son be somewhere else or become, not be homeless. And we know that due to the human trafficking, a teenage boy, could be victim if they don't. We need to keep the family unit together. So the reality of it is, and I know a lot of people don't want to talk about this, but we do need more shelters. We need family shelters that will not split a family, and I think that's something that has to be done between the county and the churches and the private entities, and provide those, take out the barriers, whether it is necessary adjustments on the zoning if we have buildings on the leases that are available to non-for-profits. But I think that that immediate part of taking those individuals from the streets and providing them shelter, that is going to be an effort that is going to have to be through the non-for-profits and the churches, and sitting at the table with the county and doing a collaboration. And that issue is of my great concern, because that's where a lot of victims of crimes, the homeless become victims of crimes and human trafficking, and it's a slippery slope. And we're trying to make Orange County a place where people can find the American dream and be prosperous. So to that group, I believe that's going to be the solution. And obviously affordable housing, the question is, and Susan knows this, when you say affordable housing, a lot of people start screaming, I don't want that near my, $500,000 home. And so, I think that it's a part of educating the community. I don't think people know, for example, that near their nice home, there is a homeless camp, because it's hiding behind, grass and trees, like in Goldenrod.
So Gina, I do apologize for interrupting.
No, no problem.
Girls, ladies, what I want you to, what my common denominator, what I'm deriving from your answers, do you agree that we have to create more awareness, more education about this problem?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Do you agree about that? Do you agree that we should you talked about partnerships. Susan, is that some of your points also, to create partnerships with nonprofits also?
Yes, it's there, as Gina had described some of them. We know it's there. Good Samaritan. I mean, we know it's there, and we need more of it.
Okay. Well, look, it's 7:42. You girls said that we would not be talking about an hour. We are getting close to the hour, and I want to get to my next topic in the round, which is public safety, meaning the crime. And I understand that sometimes commissioners only deal with projects and land use, but can Gina, Susan went. So Gina, as a commissioner, what would you help to create partnerships with the Sheriff's County, with Orlando Police Department, within your own powers as a commissioner? How can you guarantee the safety of those citizens that have lived for years in Orange County District 4 and those that are pouring in?
Well, just so that people understand, the commissioners vote on the budget of the sheriff, okay? And they hold that power. And then the sheriff tells the county, the commissioner, this is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to put these monies that we are asking you to approve. As a citizen resident and not being part of the government, I'm going to give you the perspective I see and when my husband was a police officer. If I want to know how, as a resident of District 4, the budget of the sheriff is going for District 4, it is very hard for a resident to try to figure that out. Okay. They are divided in sectors, and so it's not all, District 4. You have to look at the sectors within District 4, and then you have to figure out how is the money being spent on my district. So if we are responsible for approving money, and we should be able to easily find somewhere on the internet as a resident, oh, I'm having all these crimes committed in this area. What is the money being spent, particularly within District 4, and furthermore within District 4? And I don't know. I've tried looking for it. Maybe Susan can tell me if that exists, but I don't think it does. A way for people to know, oh, I want to buy in this section of District 4. What is exactly the crime within my sector? You can look, oh, these crimes have happened, and then you have to request, if it's a violent crime, you have to request that information if you go to the website of the Orange County Sheriff's Office. So I think there needs to be a little bit more transparency as to exactly how the money is being spent, and make that public, because people can hold the sheriff accountable if they don't have that information. And I think that being the holders of the purse and the strings, we could ask them in their reports to say, we want to be able to have that information readily accessible, so that District 5 goes, okay, this is how much money was spent, crime went up or down, and oh, my money is being well used. The other thing is, I know for a fact that a lot of people complain, a lot of my clients complain, that when they go to ask for a crime report to be filed, when it's a financial crime, when it's an elderly crime, they're being discouraged to file those police reports. Wow. Okay? And they keep telling them it's a civil matter. And then I have to go back to them and say, go back to the sheriff's office. And that's another thing that we have to hold accountability on, because I just don't know that the stats are necessarily reflective of what is actually happening in our county, and that has to do with education.
All right, well then that is great. This question is for you, Susan, from Dr. Dirk Rodriguez in Texas, that he's listening to us. Why not create a simple report table for crimes and expenditures reported every month, then summarize once a year? Simple concept like balancing a check account. Is that something that could be done within the realm of the commissioner?
It's something that the commissioners and the mayor can request. They can make the ask to the sheriff. However, the sheriff is his own or her own elected official. So, and as Gina pointed out, that the Board of County Commissioners approves the sheriff's budget, and that is it. And the sheriff is the one that puts into the budget what he wants to show. So the commission can make a request, but that does not mean that that request will be fulfilled.
Okay, all right. So ladies, that is basically our public safety. We are seeing, you girls are talking, your ladies are talking about the influx of Puerto Ricans and how it's impacting housing. How is the Latino vote going to be impacting not only federal, state, but local? It will be affecting. So this is kind of like an open topic, and we're going to start with you, Susan. How do you see the Spanish electors, the people from Puerto Rico, the people coming from Venezuela becoming citizens and registering to vote, the people from Colombia becoming citizens and registering to vote? Is that type of outreach important to you?
Oh, it is important, and everyone should be engaged. Number one, in who their elected official is, and whether it's a local level, state level, or federal level. I think the biggest issue, the immediate issue, since this race is voted on in August, as we're having the displaced individuals and families come over from the island over here, it's getting them registered to vote. And
That is
they're
true.
so concerned right now. I don't know that this year we will see such an effect, and only because they're so concerned right now with housing, with their basic needs, that, you know, voting is probably not top on their list right now. And so, you know, I don't know that it will affect in the next few months. In August, it may affect in November. However, these and they're still coming. You know, they're those who have come from the hurricane are not yet settled, and they need to get that first. So I'm not, you know, and it's very important. And yes, it will be. I think it will create outcomes that could be different from what the August election may show. However, I don't know that will occur so quickly.
So you're predicting that right now August may not show an influx of Spanish voters, Latino voters, but in November you will see there's going to be a trend in between both elections, right? That's what you're kind of gearing at.
That's just my personal opinion,
Nope.
and I'm not. I may serve in a political office. However, I'm not a politician, so I'm not kind of gauging things. But it's just a feeling that I have.
Okay.
You know,
And
from what and Gina knows this because she's out there helping those who are displaced. That, you know, they're so constant. They're so concerned with their health and where are they going to work? You know, how are they going to pay for once they move out of, if they're staying with a family member? You know, they can't stay there forever. So they're concentrating on what their needs are versus, you know, who's going to get into office.
Okay. Well, Gina, do you agree with those points?
I agree to a certain degree with Susan, because obviously the priority of any family that lost everything in the islands in Puerto Rico is to basically be able to provide for their children, get a move ahead, try to find a home, figure out their job, and while still figuring out if they left a property in Puerto Rico and dealing with FEMA and all those things in Puerto Rico. I don't know that there's going to be that much of an impact, because a lot of them do not know that we have elections every 2 years. And part of what I do when I'm walking is I'm trying to educate. I'm trying to go to the churches, and as I've done in the past about the Constitution and the government, trying to educate them that, look, we don't vote every 4 years. We do, but it's not the only time we vote. There are elections every 2 years that are important for the governor, for the commissioners. And some people don't know about school boards. What's that? They're usually things that are governor appointed in Puerto Rico, a lot of appointments. And so I don't know, and I suppose there'll be a learning curve to know what happens. God knows what will happen. But I think that we, as candidates in what you're doing in this show, it's essential to go out there and educate them. Because when I submitted some of my petitions for review, and I was, for example, in Avalon, and there's a lot of Puerto Ricans that had just come in, a lot of them, when it came back, it says not in the system. So there was a bunch of people who signed petitions who are living in District 4 who might not have registered to vote, or didn't know that when you get your driver's license, you have to tell them, yes, do register me to vote. And so, yes, getting them registered to vote and educating them that they can have an awesome impact in their communities by being active in commissioner races and learning about the issues, school board. So I think it's a two-prong: registering people to vote, educating them, and obviously as they're seeking help and from the county and from the churches, it would be great if the government and churches, school, non-for-profit, etc., could get together and maybe have a pamphlet that tells the coming people, hey, this is the political process, this is what's happening, you should, there's elections coming,
August what?
August 28th, you have a voice, you get involved, that's the day you arrived here, you can vote. So as long as you register. So I think that we can use the opportunity, provide the services, and educate at the same time.
Well, ladies, like I said, we did take the hour. So now, Susan, how can people reach you? Where can they go? What's your website? How can they make contact with you?
My website is kind of long. I apologize for my name. It's votesusanmakowski.com. I know. And my email is susan@votesusanmakowski.com. That's even longer. But this is a good one, though. This is my direct cellular number. It's the only number I have. It's with me 24 hours a day. And that is 407-491-2872.
Any parting words before we finish this historic first debate, Susan?
I loved this, and I want to say thank you to Gina. She has always been very courteous, and I'm enjoying being a candidate along with Gina. And I want to say to the listeners, I'm so happy you guys are engaged, and you've got to keep it going because you do have a voice, and it does matter.
All right, Gina. Do you have information to provide to our listeners on how to get a hold of you?
Yes, you can go to electginafl.com. That's you can go to the website there, and I do have a very, very long name, so the email elect Gina Perez Calhoun @gmail.com is the easiest one. And thank you for having me. Thank you, Susan, for making this first experience. It was a little bit nerve-wracking, a much better experience. And I do want to thank the listener. Gracias por escuchar. Please get involved, get active, have an impact, share your vision. We don't know it all, and so we want your input. We do not have control over all the ideas, and so share your ideas, share your concerns, and both of us, I know, will be very receptive to incorporating those into our platforms, into what we want to help our community. So visit my website again. It's electginafl.com, and you can email me at electginaperezcalhoun@gmail.com, or you can just go to the website, and from there you can email me, and it's much faster and easier. Thank you, JJ.
Thank you, Susan and Gina. Thank you for being part of this historic debate of candidates for District 4 for the Orange County Commissioner's Office. My dear friends, I like to leave you with some parting words. August 28th. Aunque ustedes no hayan entendido las palabras de estas jóvenes han dicho sus quehaceres, sus puntos, sus análisis, y lo vamos a tratar de traducir en puntos en nuestra página de YouTube para que ustedes sepan lo que ellos dijeron. Pero dijeron algo muy importante. Son pulcras, son éticas, aman su trabajo, quieren servir al prójimo y quieren servir a los electores del comisionado de Distrito 4. Ellas han puesto su postura. They have come here nervous, not knowing what was going to happen, and it came out one of the best debates. And let's put it this way: these fine ladies have given a teaching on how to debate with rationale and ethics, and they are very passionate women who feel that their duty is to serve their fellow voters. And I hope that the fellow voters understand the points different than of the ladies and agreed in some. But remember, your vote is very important. August 28, you, the electors of District 4, will make history. And us here in Listen to Me, we will continue to make history because we have the candidates for mayor, we have the candidates for District 3, we have school boards, and we will keep on informing you and being this award-winning show, not only for District 4, because we've talked to congressional candidates in Illinois, Texas. We're going to start talking to some in Puerto Rico. You know why? Because we're in cyberspace. We have the whole wide world of the United States. I love you, and I want to part with these words, which is the ending of a prayer. Dear God, thank you for listening and to take care of me in my prayers. You are the best friend that I have. I love you, and my love is the most honest and pure that I can give to you. Amen.
Amen.
Love you guys. See you. El próximo martes, listen to me. And that's history.